It's been a while since I last filmed a video. Obviously filming, I always knew that people could see what I was putting on YouTube, but once one of my videos on Sawani started to get a few more views, I truly realized that people could actually see me and see what I was doing, and it wasn't just the one friend I told about this channel and my boyfriend and my parents, and that kind of freaked me out as I didn't really expect anybody to ever see what I'm making. Um, so took a little break, got used to the idea that people can actually perceive me, and I think I'm ready to start making videos again. I am ready to also start sharing a little bit more of my life and not be so scared of being seen as something that some people would rather not see. I identify as a witch. I follow a nature-based path. I generally think of myself as a mix between a green witch and a kitchen witch, very much eclectic. But this year I want to actually start trying to observe the holidays in the wheel of the year. In the past, I've generally known that that day is occurring, but just haven't had the energy or ability to actually celebrate it. And this year I'm putting an effort in to do so. I thought that I would make videos for each of these days with just a little background on what the holiday is, as well as simple tricks and tips on what you could do and what I'm doing and how to observe these holidays without putting too much effort in, without spending too much money, without having a large group to celebrate with, but just rather some little simple rituals that you can participate in even if you're in the broom closet. Right, I'm sorry that the lighting is so different for this part. It's much later in the day, but I was editing and I realized that every time that I meant to say Imbolc, I ended up saying Ostra. Imbolc is the festival in the middle between the winter solstice and the spring solstice. It represents that spring is beginning to appear, though not quite here yet. And it shows that there is starting to be new beginnings and hope coming through. It is also known as Candlemas or St. Bridget's Day by Christians, as it also represents the goddess Bridget in Irish mythology. This time sees the world going from winter and Cailleach, the a crone goddess, into Bridget, who is the goddess of the hearth and healing. It is a time of fertility, and not just like getting pregnant fertility, but just fertility in general of thoughts, and it's a time to start long-term projects. It's also thought to, the name Imbolc is thought to come from the word for ewe's milk, as ewes would start to lactate during this time, and so dairy would once again become a prominent part of the diet. Therefore, dairy is still a big part of this holiday. I'll be talking about that a little bit later on. And it's just a time to recognize that winter, while it might be getting tiresome or you may love it, is going to be coming to an end relatively soon. So, as I mentioned, I like to use some kitchen witchery in my practice. So I will be baking a loaf of seed bread for the day, as seeds are a way to celebrate Imbolc and to observe new beginnings that are starting, as seeds are the promise of plants. So I will be baking this bread, and then as we eat it, manifesting what I want to come out of the seeds of the new beginnings that this season plants. I will be also making some butter just by whipping heavy whipping cream with some salt and maybe a little bit of rosemary, as rosemary is a plant connected with the fire element. Dairy is a big part of this holiday. As I mentioned before, used milk is a part of how this holiday was brought into being, as many youths would start to lactate around this time, bringing milk back into people's diets. As this is Bridget's day, I thought that I would like to honor her, and blackberries are sacred to Bridget, and so we will be partaking in some blackberry meat, perhaps pouring some on the ground in a spot that alcohol could not hurt any growing things, obviously. We will also be taking this bread and butter along with some of the plants that start to pop up around this year in our area, such as clover, and we have these little purple flowers that grow, and burning them all together in a cauldron that I have as we eat our mini feast to send into the air as an offering to ancestors, nature, the gods, etc. This is just an easy way to share what we are using with the rest of the energy at this time. I've also written out a tarot spread that I will be using on that day. I wrote it just through looking at some other spreads for new beginnings for this time of year, etc. But the way that I set mine up will be a 5-card spread. The first question being, what seeds in my life and myself do I need to nurture? The second card will represent, what do I need to do to nurture them? The third card will be, what is still frozen in my life? The fourth card is how to unfreeze that thing. And the fifth card is, what should I focus on in this coming season as we move from winter into spring? On the actual day, I will be doing research into what I want to grow in my garden this coming spring. I have an herb garden and would like to expand it into also growing some vegetables. So I will be researching what is best to grow in the Texas climate, the Houston climate, and our backyard has a lot of shade, so what grows best in the shade, and just taking some time on that day to plan out how I will be utilizing the temperature and warmth, and so I'll be utilizing that day just to take some time to focus on what I want to grow in the spring. If you are growing from seeds and already have them, you can also take this day to do a little blessing of them, manifest what you want to come out of them. Speaking of manifestations, because this is a time of new beginnings, I also plan on writing down some manifestations of what I want in this coming season, both in myself and in my life. You could also just do this meditating. It doesn't have to be written. A ritual bath would also be a nice way to celebrate and meditate during that on what you want in these new beginnings. That may be a way that I celebrate if I have time on that day. So yeah, this is my first year actually celebrating. I hope that some of these ideas either help you to be inspired to create your own or use some of these. Let me know if you do. Let me know how it goes. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I'm planning on doing some more witchy content, so if that's something you would like to learn about, then stick around. I've been studying witchcraft for a few years now, but haven't practiced so much just due to circumstances. So I'm going to be talking about some of my experiences getting started in the true practicing of it rather than just study, and I hope you'll come along with me for that journey. Have a blessed Imbolc.